everyone, Miss Laura here with the South Carolina State Museum in Columbia, South Carolina. Today we are making spin art machines as part of our series of cool things you can create while you're at home on break. If you don't know what a spin art machine is, your parents probably do, and they probably had one when they were little. You can of course buy these, but we think it's really cool to make our own. Before we get started, let's take a look at the materials you're going to need. So for our materials for our spin art machines, we have a few different things. Now, all of these things are purchased locally at our local dollar stores and convenience stores. If in doubt, you can order online and then come back to this video and do this at a different day, but all of these things were gotten locally. First things first, we need a box, and this is just a box that we had for storage use, and we cut the top off of it, and now we have half of a box, which is what we're going to use. We do need some sort of what we call a platen, and this is going to be where your paper goes at the end, and it's going to spin around. You also need a bottle cap glued onto your platen, and you're going to want a hole poked into it, and you can use a screwdriver to do that, or an adult can use a screwdriver to do that, and that is because eventually this motor right here is going to have to stick in there, and that is how it's going to spin around. It's very, very cool. So we have a box, we have a little scrap piece of cardboard to create our platen, and on top or on the bottom of that cardboard, we hot glued a soda cap bottle and poked a hole in it, and not too big a hole, that way our motor could fit. I do have some paper here. I just cut the paper so that it's small enough to where when my platen spins, my paper doesn't hit the sides of my box. Your paper might be even smaller than mine. It just depends on the size of the box that you have. You're going to need a AA battery pack with your wires, and with your AA battery pack, you're going to need a couple of AA batteries to go inside and work our motor. Now, if you've done our Doodlebot or some other things with us, we like to use counterbalance motors a lot. This is not. This is a regular old motor, no counterbalance on it. So we're looking for a regular old motor. These a lot of times are found in hobby areas when people are like working on little cars and things. So, and you want your two wires there. We are using glue dots today. If you don't know what a glue dot is literally, I'm shining it in the light. It's literally just a little pad of glue. It's just a little clear pad of glue. We think these are really easy for us to use with our students, but I have to say most people don't have those around and you don't need them. If you have a hot glue gun, like so, if you have a hot glue gun and hot glue sticks, you can get the same thing done. So don't worry about it if you don't have glue dots. Any sort of glue or something to hold things together is going to work just fine. We are going to need a little bit of tape. We like to use electrical tape specifically when we're working with electronics. Just makes life a little bit safer, and you don't need much. We just have a tiny bit. And then I do like to use one of these butterfly clips. When I put my paper onto my little platen that I'm going to make, I just push it off to the side and I use the clip to keep it on so that when it's spinning, the paper doesn't fly off. So those are the materials you are going to need to make our spin art machine today. So the first thing you need is your battery pack. This is your AA battery pack. I'm going to move my lights a little closer so I can highlight this a little bit more. So this is our AA battery pack, and that means it holds AA batteries, okay? And if you look really closely, I'm going to tip it so you can see, there we go. There is an on right here and an off over here. So it says on and off. If you look closely, right there is on, right there is off. So I want this in the off position, OFF. It's to the right, so make sure yours is off, okay? Now what I want you to do is flip it over, and we are going to open our battery pack. Now there are little ridges right here. There are 3 little ridges in kind of a triangle shape, and it's kind of pointing in that direction. You're going to put your finger on those ridges and you're going to press down and push forward at the same time, and that's what will happen. Your battery pack will slide open. See how it's sliding? It will slide open and eventually you can pull it off, okay? I'm going to take one of my AA batteries and I'm going to look for the top of it. Everybody see that little head right there, that little ridge? That is the top of our battery. I like to call it the head. It is also the positive end of our battery. You can see the plus sign there. So that's the positive end of our battery, and this flat side right here, totally flat, nothing to it. This is the bottom, and it's the negative side. The bottom always goes towards the spring, okay? Bottom always goes towards the spring. What you are going to do when I say go and not before is you are going to put your batteries inside your battery pack just like that. You're going to point the flat side towards the spring and push it in until it clicks in, just like that. Ready? You may go. This is a good time to pause. So you're going to do the opposite of what you did before. You're going to put the lid on it like this. Okay, you can see where it meets, and you are simply going to slide it until it clicks, just like that. Okay, so you're going to slide it until it clicks, and that's all. If you have a screw right there, you don't need to worry about it. You can toss it in the trash. You don't need the screw. So the next thing we need to do is hook up our motor to it. Now, if you notice, your motor has a black and a red wire, and your battery pack has a black and a red wire. So what we are going to do is we are going to twist those wires together. So please watch and don't do anything until I tell you to go. We are going to take the two black wires like this. We're going to get them nice and close. Let me move that red wire out of the way, sorry. We're going to get them nice and close together like that. And you're going to twist the two metal parts together like a bread twist tie. Again, you shouldn't be doing anything because you should be watching. We're going to twist them together. See how they're starting to twist around each other? Like a bread twist tie. They're going to spin and spin and spin until I get them nice and tight and together. Now it does not matter, and you can even fold it if you want to, as long as those metal parts are touching each other. It does not matter if the plastic parts touch, because the plastic parts aren't going to conduct electricity. We need the two little metal parts to twist around each other and be wrapped around each other. So that's what you're going to do with it. If you did not understand that, I'm going to do it again really quick. Again, you shouldn't be doing anything until I tell you to. So I'm going to put both of those red wires near each other. I'm going to get them right next to each other. And then I'm going to start twisting them both together and around each other. And the better you twist them, the better connection you get. So I'm going to keep twisting them around. Again, like twist tie on a loaf of bread. I'm going to keep on going. Twist them around and around and around. And then I like to also give it like one little tiny fold just to make sure I've got a really good connection there. And then I'm going to put it on the table. Really important before I let you go to do this is to make sure that you are not letting the motor or battery pack hang from those 2 points. At this point, we are going to, I'm going to tell you in a second to go. You're going to twist both of those together, and then I'll see you back here, okay? So ready, set, go. This is a good time to pause. All right, if you're still with me, that means that your students have indeed twisted both ends together. Everyone is at this point right here where we've got all of our wires making a full circuit. So this is our power source. The energy or electricity is going to go through this wire, cause our motor to spin, and then back around. So we've got a full circuit going on, okay? A nice completed circuit. So I'm going to open up my electrical tape a little bit, and I'm just going to pull off a tiny bit of it. Maybe about an inch or so, not even that, maybe like a ½ inch. I don't really need much at all. And I'm going to wrap this around my, my wires here just to make sure that the metal parts don't touch anything else and that they don't get any paint on them either. So I'm just going to wrap them around like that, nice and simple. Nothing too crazy. I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. So again, I'm pulling some off. I'm going to cut off a little less than an inch, just like that. And I'm going to fold and wrap around the other side. And we're just making sure that our wires, A, they don't come apart, B, that they don't get any paint on them, and C, that they don't touch each other and short circuit our circuit that we have here. Everybody may go. This is a good time to pause. If you're still with me, I'm going to put my pad of electrical tape over there because I don't need it. If you're still with me, we have a completed circuit. So we are ready to go. What I want to do really quick is test and turn this on. And when I turn it on, my motor should be spinning around and turning. And I don't know if you can hear it. That was me putting the motor to the microphone, but my motor is indeed spinning and turning. So go ahead and turn it off, and you're going to put it right over here. We're going to hang tight for a minute. because the next thing I need to do is go ahead and get my stuff glued to my box. So I'm going to go ahead and get my box out. So what I'm going to do is grab my motor, and I'm going to show you what to do, and then I'm going to go ahead and let you guys pause and try to get this done together as a group. This can sometimes be the hardest part. So you need your motor to get glued down to the bottom at the very center of the box, and you also need this battery pack glued over here. So here I'm going to show you how to put these together, and for this we need our glue dots. If you're not sure what a glue dot is, it is pretty much a sticker, but it's a far, far stickier. So if I shine this in the light, you can see a little shiny dot right there. Okay, that is my glue dot. There we go. You can kind of see it right there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a glue dot at the bottom of my motor. And how I do this is, and everyone should be watching first, I'm going to stick it down like that, and then I'm going to peel it up, and I might have to push it down a little bit, but I'm going to peel it up, and I'm going to leave an adhesive on the bottom so it's nice and sticky. Now I do like to use 2 glue dots here, so I'm going to take my other one, I'm going to stick it down, and then I'm going to peel it off like a sticker, just like this. And I might have to use my nails to keep it down. Now, I have not told anyone to go yet, and I have not told you to start because I need to show you this entire process at once, okay? All right, so I'm going to put this motor with my wire facing my battery pack in the center. And I'm going to press it down really hard. I'm going to get it nice and on there. There we go. Okay, so it's nice and centered. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 more glue dots, and I am going to put them on my battery pack. Now mind you that your battery pack needs to turn on and off. You want to point the on-off switch down. So I'm going to tip my box sideways so you can see. So my on-off switch is right here. I want it pointed down towards the bottom of the box, and I want to stick it kind of right here, maybe about 1 inch from the top or so. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 glue dots, and I'm going to put them on the back of my battery pack. I'm going to press them down just like I did before, push, push, push. And then I'm going to peel, and I might have to use my nail to stick them on. So I'm going to take my battery pack, and I'm going to put it here across from my motor, and with the wires leading towards one another. And I'm going to push really hard, and I'm going to get it to stay. Just like that. So this is what you're aiming for. You want as much wire on this side as possible, and you want them facing each other. You want your battery pack right here with the on-off switch facing out, so you can turn it on and off. There we go. Oh yeah, that's been really good. And you want your wires from your motor facing that way and everything kind of centered, okay? This is a good time for everyone to go and a great time for you to pause. Don't forget to use your hot glue guns if you need it. If you are still with me, it means that your students have something that looks similar to this. We have our battery pack to the side, our wires leading down, and our motor stuck to the bottom. You are going to do 1 or 2 more things for me. We're going to take the rest of our tape, all the rest of the tape that you've got. It's not a whole lot. It's just a teensy tiny little bit. You are welcome to use tape from your box, but I like to use electrical tape because it's pretty sticky. I am going to take my wires and I'm going to pull them gently, very, very gently, and I want them to be flat on the box. So I'm just going to put a little electrical tape like this, and I'm going to tape them flat to the bottom of the box, okay? What I'm doing here is I'm removing any extra jumbly parts that I have. That way my platen can spin very, very easily. So I taped that to the bottom of the box, and then I'm going to see if I need to tape. I don't think I need to. If you have some though, you might need to tape your wires to the side down here. I happen to not need to. I don't need to tape anything here, but take a look. If yours are sticking out and they're really jumbly, you might need to tape yours down. I'm just going to tape this down even more because I don't need to tape my wires over here. If you are still with me, it means that all of your students now have this setup. Everything kind of looks like this. And all you are waiting for is this last part with the platen. So if you notice, I keep calling this a platen. That's what we call it. It's just a flat surface where our stuff is going to go. Everyone always thinks this is the top. It is not. This is actually the bottom that is going to go on your motor. If you notice, you have a little hole there. That hole is for your motor stick, the little stick sticking out of your motor. Now, it seems pretty simple. All I'm really going to ask you to do is put this on top of the motor like that. And then when you turn it on, it'll spin. It always seems really simple, but here's the thing. We always discover people's things are a little lopsided and everything like that, and that's okay. You might need to take a glue dot and put it on top of this little guy right here or on top of here and stab that through this, to kind of stab it through the glue dot. You can also use a little bit of hot glue if you want, but very, very little. The key here and the trick here, and the reason everyone should be paying attention and not doing whatever they want right now, the key here is to not get anything to stop this motor from moving. The most common issue I see when we do a spin art machine like this is that people push the platen too far down and it actually touches the bottom or the metal part, that flat part, it touches right here on the motor. It causes too much friction and then it stops moving because it's just rubbing too much and it can't spin. So you want to keep this fairly high up on your motor, on the little stick that's coming out of your motor. You want to keep it pretty high up on that, and you don't want it to rub the bottom. So you might need to add a glue dot here or maybe a little bit of hot glue, put it on there, maybe let it dry upside down, that way it doesn't get into the motor and doesn't stick. So all you have to do though is put this on top of here. I'm just going to keep feeling around until I get the hole. Okay, did you see that? So I put it here, I keep moving around. Oop, there we go, there's the hole. And then I'm going to push. Now remind yourself that this is a handmade, at home, handmade machine. And you need to keep that in mind because it's not going to be perfect. We don't have all of those extra things that people use in manufacturing to make this perfectly level and perfectly great. But this is going to be yours and you are making it from top to bottom yourself. So give yourself some grace here and forgive yourself for it not being perfect because it doesn't need to be. Remember that. Also remember that if you're running into trouble, that's part of the point of some of these activities is to work through the problem. So think about what the issues might be and what might be slowing it down, because this is typically where you guys can start using that noggin and you can start thinking about like, well, what's happening? Are my wires hitting the platen? Do I need to move the wires down? Do I need more tape on the wires to get them even flatter? Do I need to find a way to raise my platen somehow or do something like that? So think about those things. So here we go. The very last step, this is a good time to pause. Everyone go ahead and put your platen on. Oh, and everyone may go. If you are still with me, that means that your students have a box with the motor connected to a battery pack, and when you turn it on, the platen moves and it spins around, okay? I'm gonna turn mine off. Students, you don't wanna leave yours running all the time because it will kill the batteries and it will burn out the motor, so be very careful. So the next thing that you need to do is go ahead and pull out your paper. You're gonna take one of your sheets of paper and you're gonna lay it on your platen. Now here's the problem. If I turn this on, my paper starts to move around, right? And I don't want that because then it's not going to spin properly. So that's when I have to get my binder clip, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to open up your binder clip. Now, if no one knows how to do this, this is the closed position of a binder clip. If I flip these two metal parts out, that is the open position, and I can pinch them to open that up, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my binder clip and I'm going to pinch it and I'm going to stick it on the side of my platen, just like that. Let me move this over so you can see better. So I've pinched it and it's on the side of my platen. I'm going to take one of my pieces of paper and I'm going to pinch it again and slide it into my binder clip, just like that. So now when I turn it on, I'm going to balance this out a little bit, because mine is a little wobbly. I might need to add some hot glue to mine so that way it's not kind of tipped so much. I'm going to turn this on, and it's spinning. Here we go. Perfect. So it takes mine a minute to get moving really fast, but as you can see, it is moving and spinning very well. So I now have a platen that is holding down my paper. And mine is a little wonky, so I'll have to hot glue it later, but I'm going to get it as flat as I can. So I'm going to turn mine on. Spin, 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 spin. All right, now mine is moving nice and fast, so I'm going to take some of my blue. Everyone pause and watch what I'm doing. I'm going to drop a little bit on there, just a tiny, tiny bit. Okay, now I'm going to do some red. right, and now I'm going to do some yellow. There we go. And I used very, very, very little. And now what I'm going to do is stop it from moving. I'm going to let it slow down on its own. And this is the design I've got. This is what my spin art made. So what you can do is get your fingers underneath it, use your binder clip, open it up, pull your spin art or your paper out, and this is what my spin art made. The less you use, the better your art tends to be. So a lot of people don't realize that with spin art, but if you just dump a whole thing on there, it doesn't tend to look very cool, but if you use very, very, very little, you get really, really fun and really cool designs. Anyway, I hope you have fun. I hope everyone enjoys their time with their spin art machines. I can't wait to see what you make, and I hope you have a very, very lovely day. Bye.